Wait a minute, Prabhu. Got it. Okay, I'll start now. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I'll go with very short prayers today because of the time constraint. Because Mukam karoti vachalam pangvam langvayate girim yat krupatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Rastapray Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nastapraye Sabadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtake Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Sangha Srila Prabhupada. Today's our verse is Canto 1, Chapter 10, Text 9 and 10. I'm going to read the verse now, and I would like you to repeat the verse. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tata Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamo Rukodarascha Dhamyascha Shriyo Matsya Sutadaya Nasehire Vimukhyanto Viraham Vishrangadanvanaha. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tata Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamo Rukodarascha Dhamyascha Shriyo Matsya Sutadaya Nasehire Vimukhyanto Viraham Shargadhanvanaha. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tata Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamo Rukodarascha Dhamyascha Shriyo Matsya Sutadaya Nasehire Vimukhyanto Viraham Shangadanvanaha. I would please you can volunteer to read the verse. Any one of you, please.
Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tata Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamo Vikodarascha Daumyascha Striyo Matsya Sutadayah नासेहिरे विमुह्यन्तो विरहं साङ्गधन्वनः. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tata Gandhari Dhritarashtra Yuyutsur Gautamayamo Vikrodarascha Dhaumyascha Striyo Matsya Sutadayaha Nasehirev Muhyanto Viraham Sangadan Tanvanaha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. Anyone else wants to read? Okay, then I'll go for the synonyms. Subhadra, the sister of Krishna. Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas. Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas. Virata Tanaya, the daughter of Virata Uttara. Tatha, also. Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhan. Dhritarashtraha, the father of Duryodhana. Cha, and Yujsuhu, the son of Dhritarashtra, by his Vaishya wife. Gautamaha, Krupacharya. Yamao, the twin brothers, Nakula and Sahadeva. Brukodaraha, Bhima, Cha, and Dhaumyaha, Dhaumya, Cha, and Shriyaha, also other ladies of the palace. Matsya Sutta Adayaha, the daughter of fisherman, Satyavati, Bhishma's stepmother, now couldn't. Sehire, tolerate. Vimukhantaha, almost fainting. Viraham, separation. Sangadhanvanaha, of Krishna, who bears a conch in his hand. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yujutsu, Krupacharya, Nakula, Sahadeva, Bhimasena, Dhaumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Sri Krishna. Purport: Lord Sri Krishna is so attractive for the living beings, especially for the devotees, that it is impossible for them to tolerate separation. The conditioned soul, under the spell of illusory energy, forgets the Lord, otherwise he cannot. The feeling of such separation cannot be described, but it can simply be imagined by the devotees only. After his separation from Vrindavan and the innocent rural cowherd boys, girls, ladies, and others, they all felt shock throughout their lives. The separation of Radharani, the most beloved cowherd girl, is beyond expression. Once they met at Kurukshetra during a solar eclipse, and the feeling which was expressed by them is heart-rending. There is, of course, a difference in the qualities of the transcendental devotees of the Lord, but none of them who have ever contacted the Lord by direct communion or otherwise can leave him for a moment. This is the attitude of a pure devotee. Dear devotees, Hare Krishna, today's verse actually is talking about the separation of the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. This is a very, very highly advanced, transcendental, much elevated topic. So basically, a soul who is in a conditioned state like me doesn't have any qualification to speak about this verse at all. It's impossible. Srila Prabhupada in the purport is saying that these feelings of such separation cannot be described. Nobody could be able to describe actually. At the most, devotees can imagine, that too not like a neophyte devotee like me. At the most, Madhyamadikaris can maybe imagine this kind of separation. But unless one becomes a pure devotee and experiences this kind of separation in their life, then only they can understand. Otherwise, it's very highly impossible to understand this kind of separation. But so, since Krishna has given me this verse today, I'll try to pass on the message what I have heard from the senior devotees and also our previous acharyas. If I speak anything inappropriate, I beg at the lotus feet of all the devotees, please forgive me if something is spoken wrongly. Okay, thank you so much. Now, actually, basically, this verse is talking about basically two things. One is how Krishna attracts all living beings. Not only devotees, even non-devotees will get attracted to Krishna. And the second point is the intensity, the influence of the intensity of the Krishna's attractiveness. The influence of intensity of Krishna's attractiveness. How it affects the pure hearts of the pure devotees, how they would feel separation for Krishna. So these things, and how to understand what is actually separation, love in separation for Krishna. That's what we are going to discuss today. And also, is it the last section? What I'm going to discuss is like, is it possible for normal sadhaka bhaktas for us to attain this kind of love for Krishna, this kind of separation from Krishna? If it is possible, what is the way to attain that? That we are going to discuss today. Okay. So basically, the situation here is that when Lord Krishna wants to departure to Dwarka, okay, King Yudhishthira actually requests him to stay few more months in Hastinapura. So Krishna accepted that. The reason for his acceptance is that he does not only he wants to pacify the Maharaja Yudhishthira, but he also wants to pacify the inhabitants of Hastinapura, the citizens of Hastinapura. Why? Because actually after the Kurukshetra war, Dhritarashtra was so much despondent that he was victimizing himself. Right? He was not happy to rule the kingdom. He was the one who should rule the kingdom, but he was not happy. He was not accepting to rule the kingdom. So he was making responsible for himself for the loss of so many Kauravas, and also the so many soldiers in the battlefield. So he was very upset, basically. So when a king, perplexed in his life, when a king bewilders in his life, what is the situation? We could imagine, right? What would have been the situation of the citizens of the Hastinapura? They also got bewildered. They also got actually, perplexed in their lives. So Krishna is very intelligent, right? Krishna is very intelligent. So he wants to actually glorify some elevated qualities, exalted qualities of King Yudhishthira, so much so that the inhabitants of Hastinapura, without any misconceptions in their hearts, they have to accept Krishna as their, they have to accept King Yudhishthira actually as their supreme king. So that was the purpose of Krishna, to stay some more months in Hastinapura. Finally, he could be able to achieve that. So now the citizens are very, very happy, and they accepted King Yudhishthira wholeheartedly in their hearts. Okay. Now this situation, now Krishna is about to leave to Dwaraka now. After he has set everything in Hastinapura nicely, then he wants to leave Hastinapura right now. So now the situation is, see here, so many devotees of the Lord, they are nearly fainted. Not only devotees of the Lord, we could observe here Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, and Krupacharya, who were against Krishna. They also got, they are also getting fainted, because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Sri Krishna. For pure devotees of the Lord, a moment of separation from the Lord makes them suffer so much. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, kindly, give us his Shastakam, right? Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravrushaitam sunyaitam jagasarvam Govinda virahe name. For a movement is considered as a 12 yugas for them. Devotees, they cannot tolerate the separation from Supreme Lord. For them, without the association of Supreme Lord, everything looks vacant in the world. They don't have any interest. Everything is disinteresting for them, basically. Sunyam, void, everything, zero for them. So that is the separation actually pure devotees feel from the Lord. Now, coming to this verse, see Bhimasena. If we take Bhimasena, he said that his body is like a stone. So because Bhimasena is such a powerful body, he has such a powerful body that he could kill 100 Kauravas at a time with his bare hands in the battle of Kurukshetra. And he tear the chest of Dusasan in the battlefield, and he just killed him, and I think he even drank his blood also. And he made the Jarasandha's body 2 parts, he just teared his body into 2 parts, and he killed him actually, Jarasandha, with his bare hands only, Bhimasena. So such was the power of Bhimasena, and he, not only his body, his heart is also like a stone only. But here, actually, Bhimasena's heart is also melted, actually. It got melted. How is it possible? And then because of Krishna's association, actually. And about here, Yujutsu is there, right? Yujutsu is a cousin brother of Duryodhana, actually. So Duryodhana has a fear that Yujutsu might go because he is a son of Dhritarashtra for his Vaisya wife. So what Duryodhana was thinking that he's thinking that he might go and join the party of Pandavas. So he made him join in the list of big warriors, even though he's a small-time warrior. So that was Duryodhana's plan. Okay. Now, coming to the Gandhari, actually, Gandhari is such a woman that after she lost all her 100 sons, she was the one who cursed Krishna. She was the one who caused the Edo dynasty to get destroyed by fighting themselves within themselves. That was Gandhari's curse to Krishna and the Edo dynasty. And then coming to Dhritarashtra, what about his position? After he lost his 100 sons, he was not able to digest that fact. When Krishna and Pandavas went to meet Dhritarashtra after the war, along with Bhimasen, Dhritarashtra wanted to kill Bhimasen by crushing him with his own arms, actually. Krishna noticed that, and Krishna will tell, Krishna told Bhimsen that, please, give him an iron statue so that he would crush iron statue. Then Bhimsen put an iron statue within the arms of Dhritarashtra and he crushed it. So, see, by this incidents, we can understand, right, how much Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, such an offenders to Vaishnavas, right? Such an offenders to Vaishnavas. Still, their heart also got melted. How is this possible? How could we understand the situation? Is it possible, actually? But it's getting possible because, why? Because it's all the association of the pure devotees, association of the lovers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the power of the association of the lovers of Godhead. Because Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, and Krupacharya was also working on side of Kauravas for some reason, But all their hearts got melted because they were under the association of the pure devotees like Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Nakula, Sahadeva, Bhimasena. This is the situation, actually, here. This is what, so it's important even for us also to be in the association of the devotees of the Godhead. Otherwise, it's very difficult for us to, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many instances given about pure devotees. By reading Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, we can truly associate with the pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we are in the association of the devotees of the Lord, even if we fall down at some point, but still there would be hope. That was mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. I am going to read this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 5th chapter, 19th verse. The translation, it is mentioned that, my dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or the other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruity workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. So this was the, mentioned in this verse. So it is important for us to be in the association. But as a sadhaka bhaktas, our separation and love for Krishna is not that strong at this point. So the separation we have for Krishna is directly proportionate with the attachment we have for Krishna. The more and more attachment we have for Krishna, the more and more separation we would have for Krishna. So that is the logic here. So now, if we come to the situation, how do we understand the separation? If the Pandavas here, they are feeling that, their situation is like a fish. Srila Prabhupada often quotes this example where, many times, that it's a situation like fish, which is brought, from the water, from outside of the water. How would the fish feel, right? How much pain it will have, right? By being away with the water, right? So if somebody goes to the fish and asks fish, oh fish, okay, come, I will give you a very big feast. I will give you whatever you want in this world, like, all opulences and all that. Does fish is going to feel, happy? No, right? Fish will not be feeling happy because what actually fish wants is only the water, only water. Right? Unless we give water to fish, we cannot make fish happy. In the same way, the pure devotees of the Lord, they are not going to tolerate the separation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Every minute they cannot really bear. In actually, many of us usually we go to temple and we do a lot of services, and some services of course, and we chant every day and we read, we hear, but we don't feel that kind of separation for Krishna, right? We don't feel that kind of separation or love for Krishna. But for pure devotees, it is intolerable to bear this kind of separation. Their lives will be gone actually. Out of this, their mind will be so much disturbed actually. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have seen many examples of that. One time what happens is actually Krishna was playing flute under the Vamsivat at the banks of the river Yamuna. So by hearing that flute noise, actually the gopis, who were working their household chores and all that, everybody are involved in some or the other work, they stopped everything, and their attractiveness and affection for Krishna awakened in their hearts, and they want to just leave everything and go and meet Krishna, because they were not able to bear the separation of Krishna at that particular moment. Some gopis left, but other gopis, they were not able to go because of the obstruction of their husbands or relatives, and they just objected them to go, and they said that why are you going now? This is not the time to go. You cannot leave just everything and go. No, we don't allow you to go. Then they felt so bad that they just left their bodies. Just to associate with Krishna, they just left their bodies. So that was devotees actually, they could be able to give their lives also, to associate with Krishna. That is what their consciousness, that level of consciousness, this intense separation feelings, they won't be able to bear. They don't want to be away from Krishna even for a moment. That was the highest consciousness the pure devotees of the Lord has. But there is another consciousness also, which we usually see, right? Because in the material world, actually materialistic world, the people, non-devotees, they don't want any Krishna in their lives. They don't have any separation for Krishna. They don't have any viraha for Govinda. They just want all opulences in the material world, right? Like all wealth, opulences, name, fame, prestige, and everything, right? They want everything else except Govinda in their lives. They are happy in that way actually. But now the section what I'm going to discuss is like, how do we understand the separation of the pure devotees of the Lord? We can try to at least understand by different verses from Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is there is a separation. Love in separation for Krishna is called as, in the Vedic language, it is called as Vipralamba. Okay, and meeting with the Lord is called as Sambhoga. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, I go to the verse actually. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 23.63, this has been given by Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami. I'm going to read this and explain what is this. Vipralamba Chaturvidha Purva Raga Mana Pravasa Khyara Prema Vaichichya Khyayana. So Vipralamba has 4 divisions: Purva Raga, Mana, Pravasa, and Prema Vaichichya. So we can understand the love and separation from Godhead by discussing these 4 divisions of Vipralamba. Okay, so I'm not going to read the definitions are given here, but I'm not going to read the definitions, but I can discuss these things. So Vipralamba, first one is, there are 4 divisions of Vipralamba, separation. Okay, first one is called as Purva Raga. Purva Raga means it is a preliminary attachment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Preliminary attachment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The meeting has not yet been done with the Krishna, beloved. Okay, there was no meeting, but there is a Purva attachment, preliminary attachment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since there is some attachment, but meeting was not done, it is called as unfulfilled attachment. So, in the eternal pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there were Ashtakalya Leela, right? 8 divisions of pastimes were happening. So, this Purva Raga is the first division of the Ashtakalya Leela starts with this Purva Raga, preliminary attachment. So what happens here? The covered gopis were there, Radharani were there, but they have not yet met Krishna actually. They're preparing themselves to participate in the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Srimati Radharani, she was invited to cook for Krishna to the Yasoda Maya's palace. So she gets ready for that, and Vishaka comes and shows Krishna's picture to Srimati Radharani. So by seeing that Krishna's picture, actually Srimati Radharani's love for him awakens. The attachment, the attraction, the affection for Krishna creates intense desire to meet him. So that is the preliminary attachment, for Krishna. Just by seeing, just by hearing about Krishna, just by taking the remnants of Krishna, Radharani is given remnants every day, Krishna's remnants for her, honoring. So by these three things, actually, if a devotee develops attachment and affection and attraction for Krishna within their hearts, meeting was not done, actually, meeting will not be done, but at least attraction develops. So this is called preliminary raga, Purva Raga. And we can take the example of Rukmini also, right? Rukmini Devi has not seen Krishna, but by hearing Krishna's glorification, she got attracted. The love for him awakened in her heart, right? So this is the preliminary raga. And it is divided, this preliminary raga, Purva Raga is divided into again 4 parts. What is that? I'm going to describe that. That is actually 4 parts. Vibhava, Anubhava, Satvika Bhava and Vyabhichari Bhava. Okay. So I'm going to just simply explain that Vibhava is there. Vibhava means basically it is related to the participants. And this Vibhava again divided into 2 parts. One is Alambana and Uddipana. Alambana means support. Support means suppose Radharani and Krishna, covered boys and Krishna, covered girls and Krishna. Basically, the supporting roles would be there, supporting participants would be there in his lila. So this is called Alambana. And Uddipana means which actually intensifies, which stimulates, which enhances the intense love between the lover and the beloved. For example, suppose I can give you some example, like wife and husband are there, they want to go to wedding anniversaries, they want to go to some candlelight dinner, on the ocean, banks of the ocean or something. The husband arranges for the wife, why he arranges for the wife, like there is a beautiful table, beautiful decorations, flower decorations, and everything would be there, right? Beautiful cake is there, arranged cake. So all these things causes uddipana, stimulates the love between both of them, right? In the same way, actually, here also, Krishna, in case of Krishna's pastimes, actually, the forest itself is a uddipana. Everything is a uddipana for their love to enhance, between Krishna and covered boys, Krishna and covered girls, like, Krishna's flute. When he plays flutes, gopis would get attracted, right? Same way, his flute, his garments, his garland, his clothes, Krishna's clothes, everything gives, uddipana. It stimulates, actually. Krishna's herding cow, the stick with which he herds the cow, right? So everything gives, enhances, actually, stimulates the love between Krishna and other devotees. So this is 2 types of Vibhava. Okay, Vibhava. Next, we go to Anubhava. Anubhava is such that Anubhava means the gopis serving Krishna in a conscious way. They are conscious because the examples are like stitching garlands and offering bhoga to Krishna, and playing, covered boys playing with Krishna, and in between fightings between them. All these things are Anubhava. These are conscious things which the gopas and gopis do for Krishna. Okay, next, third one is Satvika Bhava. Satvika Bhava means, unconsciously it happens. Suppose example is given like Srimati Radharani, if she sees tamala tree will be in a black color. So if she sees that tree, she thinks that, oh, Krishna, then she embraces the tree and she feels unconscious. This unconsciousness, and then fainting, and rolling on the ground, and hair standing on the end, these are called Ashta Satvika Vikara. So these things happens, this is called Satvika Bhava. And then the fourth one is Vyabhichari Bhava. Vyabhichari Bhava means In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami explains that there are 32 emotions. These are internal emotions. Internal emotions. Not externally, we don't see anything, but internally they feel actually. So these are 32 emotions. Like happy, sad, crying. Something happens. Actually, these Vibhichari Bhava feelings Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expresses. That we will discuss later actually. And these 4 ingredients basically forms a rasa, basic rasa, primary rasa, that is called as Sthai Bhava. So Sthai Bhava is nothing. Sthai Bhava means the preliminary, primary actually, important rasas which we usually read, right? Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vasyalya, Madhurya, right? These 5 things are nothing but all the ingredients, all of these other 4 ingredients, what I have explained now, those combined forms a very nice basic rasa. Okay. Now I am done with Purva Raga. Then the word mana. What is mana? Mana means, actually there are so many examples of mana pastimes given in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a love fights between Srimati Radharani and Krishna. Usually Krishna is so mischievous and he makes always Radharani upset, and Radharani doesn't want to see Krishna's face. Then Krishna finally go in some other form, in a Maruvesha. I don't know what it is called in English, but it is called in Telugu Maruvesha. In some other form, and he goes and somehow he pacifies Krishna, Radharani, and Radharani feels happy. And that is what it is going to happen every time. So so many examples are given. While Krishna is, with Chandravali, just to make Radharani jealous. So Radharani feels so much jealous seeing Krishna with some other woman, and she will get upset, and she doesn't want to even see Krishna's face. Attachment is there. In this case, attachment is there. Meeting was also done, but still they fight each other. They want to see each other. They want to embrace each other, but they were not able to do that because of their, mana inside. They have something, obstructing them. Because they would get upset with each other, but finally Krishna is such an intelligent, and so he could make arrangement that he could pacify Radharani, and again they will be together. So this is mana. And the third one is pravasa. Pravasa is very, very important. The main whole topic is today is pravasa only. So I will discuss it once I discuss with prema vaichichya, the last one. So this prema vaichichya means they will be together, but still they feel separation. The lover and the beloved would be together, but they still feel separation. Because example is Radharani is sitting on the lap of the Krishna and enjoying. Actually, one bumblebee comes and she goes around Radharani. And when the bumblebee leaves Radharani, Gopi says, "Oh, bumblebee is left. Bumblebee is left." Then Radharani was thinking that Krishna left. Krishna left. Then she started crying. "Oh no, Krishna left me. Krishna is in front of her only." But still she is feeling separation from Krishna. This is anticipation of separation of Krishna. Anticipation of separation. Actually, basically, today's our verse is also the separation was not done yet. Krishna was still there. He was just about to mount the chariot. But still, everybody, the Pandavas are getting painted. That means that the separation has not yet started. This is only fear of anticipation of separation. That is also so worse that it makes people, devotees mad actually. So that is the prima vaichichya, and then now coming to the main important, rasa, which is pravasa actually. Pravasa is such that when Krishna actually goes away from the devotees, this is a highest transcendental ecstatic separation for the pure devotees of the Lord. So there are 2 types of this pravasa. One is dura pravasa and then sudura pravasa. Dura pravasa means it's a short-term, separation. Short-term separation is, suppose Krishna goes to herd the cows and he goes to the forest, right, with the covered boys and all that. Then Gopis feel a lot of separation from Krishna. They would in fact wait. When would Krishna come? When would Krishna come? When would again we see Krishna? Even that short period of time, they were not able to tolerate that much of pain also. So this is Dura Pravasa. Okay. So before we discuss Sudura Pravasa, I'm just going to, this is also happens when a Rasa Leela, Krishna is doing Rasa Leela with all the Gopis and Srimati Radharani. So when Krishna leaves, suddenly he disappears from the Rasa Leela. Again, he will be visible to them, but suddenly he disappears for some time. So the feelings of Gopis, how they would feel when Krishna suddenly disappears, I'm going to share with you those verses. from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 30th verse. We are going to read some how we could, so that we could understand how they would go mad, when they don't see Krishna in their lives. So when this is a situation, Rasa Leela happens, and then Krishna suddenly disappears. Gopis saying that, singing loudly of Krishna, they searched for him throughout the Vrindavana forest like a band of mad women. They even asked the trees about him, who as a super soul is present inside and outside of all created beings, just like the sky. The Gopi said, "Oh Ashwatha tree, oh Plaksha, oh Nyagrodha, have you seen Krishna? That son of Nanda Maharaja has gone away after stealing our minds with his loving smiles and glances. Oh Kurapaka tree, oh Ashoka, oh Naga, oh Punnaga, oh Champaka, has Balarama's younger brother, whose smell removes the audacity of the all-proud women, passed this way? O most kind Tulasi, to whom the feet of Govinda are so dear, have you seen that infallible one walk by, wearing you and encircled by swarms of bees? O Malati, O Mallika, O Jati, O Yutika, has Madhava gone by here, giving you pleasure with the touch of his hand? O Chuta, O Priyala, O Parnasa, O Asana and Kovidara, Jambu, O Arka, Bilva, Bakula and Amara, O Kadamba and Nipa, and all of you other plants and trees living by the banks of the Yamuna, who have dedicated your very existence to the welfare of others. We Gopis have lost our minds, so please tell us where Krishna has gone. O Mother Earth, what austerity did you perform to attain the touch of the Lord Keshava's lotus feet, which has brought you such great joy that your bodily hairs are standing on it? See, even earth is feeling the ecstatic feelings. You appear very beautiful in this condition. Was it during the Lord's current appearance that you have acquired these ecstatic symptoms? That the Gopis are asking the earth, these are the ecstatic symptoms as of now you are feeling that, or it was perhaps much earlier when he stepped upon you in his form of the dwarf Vamanadev, that time, or even earlier when he embraced you in his form of the boar Varahadeva? Oh friend, wife of the deer, has Lord Achyuta has been here with his beloved, bringing great joy to your eyes? Indeed, blowing this way is the fragrance of his garland of Kunda flowers, which was smeared with the kunkuma from the breast of his girlfriend when he embraced her. O trees, we see that you are bowing down. When the younger brother of Rama, that is Krishna, walked by here, followed by intoxicated bees swarming around the Tulasi Manjaris, decorating his garland, did he acknowledge your obeisance with his affectionate glances? He must have been resting his arm on the shoulder of his beloved and carrying a lotus flower in his free hand. They were thinking that he would be with some other gopi, like Srimati Radharani. So they are feeling little kind of jealous, Let us ask these creepers about Krishna. They're asking even creepers. They're not leaving even creepers also. Even though they're embracing the arms of their husband, this tree, they certainly must have been touched by Krishna's fingernails, since out of joy they are manifesting eruptions on their skin. Having spoken these words, the Gopis, distraught from searching Krishna, began to act out his various pastimes, fully absorbed in thoughts of him. So this was the situation of the Gopis. They have become mad. And they went to each and every tree, each and every creeper in the forest and inquiring about Krishna out of lot of sadness. In the next comes to 31st chapter, Gopi Geet. I'm going to refer only 2 verses from Gopi Geet. This is a separation of the song they have sung for Krishna. It is saying that when you go off to the forest during the day, a tiny fraction of a second becomes like a millennium for us because we cannot see you. And that was the consciousness of the pure devotees of the Lord. And even when he can eagerly look upon your beautiful face, so lovely with its adornment of curly locks, our pleasure is hindered by our eyelids, which were fashioned with a foolish creator. They are actually blaming their eyelids also, because they want to constantly see Krishna, because they have missed him so much. And then 18th verse is saying that, oh God, your all auspicious appearance vanquishes the distress of those living in Vraja's forest. Our minds long for your separation. Please give to us just a bit of that medicine, which counteracts the disease in your devotees' hearts. So, what is the medicine for the separation of the Lord? Actually, nothing but association of the Lord. Since they are longing for his association, they are feeling him, missing him. Actually, they are thinking that they are deceased. So they are asking for medicine. They are requesting Krishna for medicine. What is the medicine? Association of Krishna is the only medicine for the pure devotees of the Lord. Okay, so now actually coming to the second, now we have discussed about Dura Pravasa, right? Now coming to Sudura Pravasa. Sudura Pravasa is the highest transcendental ecstatic, separation from Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in fact, came to this world. Krishna came as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this world just to experience this Sudura Pravasa. All the pure devotees of the Lord, actually, in fact, they aspire for this, because the loving separation from Krishna excels the meeting of Krishna. Vipralamba excels Sambhoga always, So that's what gopis are. Now, the situation is that this Sudura Pravasa happens when Akrura comes to the Vrindavan, right? So gopis were in shock, actually. They were not able to tolerate. They got some fear already. When Akrura came and, he wanted to take Krishna, the fear of separation already started in them, and they were feeling so mad at Akrura. So they don't know at this particular time, they don't know whether they will be meeting Krishna again in their lives. So that was a big shock for them. They were not able to control, actually, because Krishna is their prananada, gopis prananada. Their prana is there in their heart. That means Krishna is there in their heart. If Krishna leaves them, their feeling is such that the prananada is leaving them. The prana is going, actually. Without prana, what is there? Right? Nothing, actually. They will be dumb. So now we are going to discuss how gopis felt. This is very, very important. When Akrura came and took Krishna away from them, what are their feelings? We will try to understand. Some gopis felt so pained at the heart that their faces turned pale from their heavy breathing. Others were so anguished that their dresses, bracelets, and braids became loose. Other gopis entirely stopped their sensory activities and became fixed in meditation on Krishna. They lost all awareness of external words, just like those who attain the platform of self-realization. And still other young women fainted simply by remembering the words of Lord Shauri Krishna. These words, decorated with wonderful phrases and expressed with affectionate smiles, would deeply touch the young girls' hearts. The gopis were frightened at the prospect of even the briefest separation from Lord Mukunda. So now, as they remembered his graceful gait, pastimes, affectionate smiling glances, heroic deeds, and joking words which would relieve their distress, they were beside themselves with anxiety at the thought of the great separation about to come. They gathered in groups and spoke to one another, their faces covered with tears and their minds fully absorbed in Achyuta. Oh Providence, you have no mercy. You bring embodied creatures together in friendship and love, and then senselessly separate them before they fulfill their desires. This whimsical play of yours is like a child's game, having shown us Mukunda's face, framed by dark locks and beautiful by his fine cheeks, raised nose and gentle smiles, which eradicate all misery. You are now making that face invisible. This behavior of yours is not at all good. Oh Providence, though you come here with the name Akrura, you are indeed cruel. Akrura means, no cruelty, but they are saying that he's cruel. For like a fool, you are taking away what you once gave us, those eyes with which we have seen, even in one of the features of Madhu Dvisha's form, the protection of your entire creation. Alas, Nanda's son, who breaks loving friendships in a second, will not even look directly at us. Forcibly brought under his control, we abandoned our homes, relatives, children, husbands, just to serve him. But he's always looking for new lovers. The dawn following this night will certainly be auspicious for the women of Mathura. All their hopes will now be fulfilled, for as the Lord of Raja enters the city, they will be able to drink from his face the nectar of the smile emanating from the corners of his eyes. Oh Gopis, although our Mukunda is intelligent and very obedient to his parents, when he has fallen under the spell of the honey-sweet words of the women of Madura and been enchanted by their alluring shy smiles, how will he ever return to us unsophisticated village girls? See how their feelings, right? Very, very pitiable condition, actually. When the Dasarhas, Bhojas, Andakas, Vrishnis, and Satpas are seen, son of Devaki in Madura, they will certainly enjoy a great festival for their eyes, as will all those who see him traveling along the road to the city. After all, he is the darling of the goddess of fortune and the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. He who is doing this merciless deed should not be called Akrura. He is so extremely cruel that without even trying to console the sorrowful residents of Raja, he is taking away Krishna, who is more dear to us than then life itself, hard-hearted Krishna has already mounted the chariot, and now the foolish cowards are hurrying after him in their bullock carts. Even the elders, saying nothing to stop him. Today, fate is working against us. Let us directly approach Madhava and stop him from going. What can our family elders and other relatives to do us? Now that fate is separating us from Mukunda, our hearts are already wretched, for we cannot bear to give up his association even a fraction of a second. So there are so many verses. Because of the time constraint, I'm not going to read all of them. But only thing is, this is the separation actually Gopis feel for the Lordship. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to experience only this kind of separation. This is the highest separation, which devotees of the Lord could actually feel for the Lord. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is mentioned about his symptoms in the Antilila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, that what happens actually when this kind of separation happens. There are so many different postures, different emotions, different feelings, and different transformations in the body happens. Like, in case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what happened actually? All his limbs are shrinked into his body, and sometimes the joints will loose, and sometimes the blood pours from out of his body. And sometimes he cries and rolls on the ground. So many things happens, right? These kind of symptoms are expressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. As I have already mentioned, it's very hard for us, with these contaminated hearts to understand. It is for me to understand this kind of separation, how it would be, being away from Krishna. So now the last section I'm going to start. Right now, actually, is it, we have heard so many things about not separation right now. So is it possible for us to attain this kind of love of Godhead and this kind of prema for the Supreme Lord and separation for Supreme Lord? Our acharyas are saying that yes, it is possible. Why it is not possible? It is possible. So Srila Rupa Goswami actually, out of his causeless mercy, has given us the 9 stages of developing pure bhakti in our hearts. What are the 9 stages? I will briefly go into them, and then we can end the discussion. So it starts actually first with Adho Shraddha. Adho Shraddha means, the preliminary desire to serve the Supreme Lord. See, if we have desire, so even I want to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna, even I want to get attracted to Krishna, even I want to get the love of Godhead, I'm a prema for Krishna, then that is a preliminary desire arises in our heart. When Krishna recognizes the desire within our hearts, he will make sure that we will associate with the sadhu sangha. Association of the devotees happens the next stage. Next stage is sadhu sangha. Sadhu with association, because if we have to attain pure love of Godhead, and the prema for Lord and separation, this kind of separation for the Lord, we have to approach those devotees, pure devotees, who have that in their hearts, right? Because pure devotees always have this kind of, a separation for the Lord. So if we are in association with them, then naturally we also get that qualities, right? So if we have any transcendental feelings for the Supreme Lord, it's not that it's our personal qualification. It's a borrowed qualification from pure devotees, basically. So we have to be very grateful. So it is very important for us to be in the association of pure devotees all the time. So when we are associating with the pure devotees, all the contamination in our hearts will be removed completely. Association, see, it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that sadhu sangha, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. What is lava matra sadhu sangha? Lava is a small amount of period of time actually. And the example is like, if we take a needle and if we take a lotus petal, if we just put the hole on the lotus petal with the needle, how much time it takes, right? I mean, if you pierce the lotus petal, hardly no time actually. So that time is sufficient. If we are with the pure devotees, that time is sufficient. Our life will get perfected. So that is the power of association of the Supreme Personality of God. Devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we associate with the sadhu sangha, what happens next? Bhajana kriya started. We started doing devotional service. So what is devotional service is mentioned here, in Prahalada. So what is this? And separation, of course, I will talk this up later. So when Prahlad Maharaja in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam clearly mentioned what is actually devotional. There is a 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtana, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So there are 9 processes of devotional service are there. If we practice that, and another verse I just want to quote: Shrunvatam svakatah Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hrudi antasto hi apatrani vidunoti suhrutsatam. So Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of a devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So by hearing and chanting, by doing all these things, actually, we can actually starts our devotional service. But even after hearing, chanting, doing so many services, still we are not able to experience this kind of separation and love for Krishna. So what is the reason for that? It means that something is obstructing in our hearts to experience that love of Godhead. What is this obstruction? Is the 4th step in the stages of devotional service. That is anardha nivrutti. There are unwanted, unwanted things. Anardha means unwanted things. Nivrutti means removing that. So if we could be able to try to remove the anardhas in our heart, and then actually what happens is our heart will get cleansed, and then we can experience that love of Godhead actually. But how do we actually remove that anardhas from our heart? See, there is an example also gives, right, in an advertisement, we see, it's often quoted actually many times. If a small boy goes out and play, and it is shown in the advertisement that he makes his shirt as dirty as possible, all stains with mud and so many things. He puts ink on his white shirt and everything, right? Finally, advertisement shows one product, this product can clean everything. It will show like that, right? So in the same way, after searching after Vedas, searching all the Vedas, finally, the Kali Santarana Upanishad has given one powerful product for us to clean our hearts. Because, see, when we clean our room, right, every day, all the dust will be accumulated. We'll put it in a trash box, right? Every day, if we clean, after 7 days, some municipality person will come and take all the dust from us, and they will take to the, outskirts of the city. They will pour there. Heaps and heaps of dust will be accumulated there, right? If we go and see there, we will be shocked. How much the trash is accumulated here. But if someone of us can open our hearts and see how much of dust we had accumulated from, not only for one birth, but since time immemorial, we were taking so many births, all that dust, we will be shocked actually. This is like a mountain, like Himalayas mountains. How do we clean that actually? How is it possible to clean that dust? Yes, Acharya is saying it's possible. It's possible with the powerful chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then if we take up this mantra and chant, that's all the unwanted things in the heart will be eradicated. Eka Krishna Nam, what is that? Eka Krishna Nam Kore Sarva Papa Hoi. Just to take one name of Krishna, it takes away all the dirt from our hearts. It removes all the anardhas, and all the sinful reactions will be vanquished from our lives. This is basically, fortunately, this is only the side effect of chanting the mantra. But what is the actual effect of chanting the mantra? Actual effect is it gives us the love of Godhead actually. Prema. Eka Krishna Nam Kore Premera Karana. So this just one name of Krishna, if we could be able to chant nicely, it gives the prema for the Supreme Lord. So not only cleaning our hearts, but prema arises in our hearts. So example is given, right? Very, very wonderful example is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, how Narada Muni transforms Murari, a very, very cruel hunter, right? Narada Muni is a Triloka Sanchari. He can go everywhere and anywhere. So once he came to the earth and he was passing on the jungle, and he has seen actually the animals are suffering, half-killed animals were suffering, screaming, loudly out of lot of pain, with undergoing excruciating pain of death. And Narada Muni was so compassionate and he was so much worried. Hey, what is happening? Who is doing this? Then the Mrugari hunter was hiding And Narada Muni just have seen him, and he asked him to come, who are you? Are you responsible for all these cruel acts? Then Mrugari was saying, yes. He was very confident. He didn't even have repentance. He is very happy. And he said, yes, I am Mrugari. I am the hunter. My name is Mrugari. I am responsible for all these things. Then Narada Muni asked him, so what is the reason? Why are you doing this? He said, because the animals, they suffer, and finally they die. It gives me a lot of pleasure in my heart. See, that was the consciousness of Mrugari at that particular time. So Narada Muni actually was so astonished, and he told him, see, what you are doing is not right. Why can't you, kill them just one shot? Then he says, no, that doesn't give me happiness. They have to die, suffer, and die. Then only it gives me happiness. Then Narada Muni told him, no, this is not the good way. You have to suffer for all the deeds you are doing right now. Then there was a conversation started between Narada Muni and Mrugari. Actually, that itself, started, Mrugari's heart started transforming. That is what the association of the pure devotees of the Lord, by association of Narada Muni, actually, his heart started transforming. Narada Muni said, leave everything and go to your hut and just start chanting. Then Mrugari said, how do I do that? Because this is a survival for me and my family. If I stop everything, how can I survive in my life? Then Narada Muni said, don't worry about that. Just go and chant, and Krishna will take care of you. Then, keeping faith in actually Narada Muni's words, Mrugari went back to his sat and he sat and started chanting the holy name of the Lord. This news spread throughout the village, and all the villagers were so surprised, and they came and see Mrugari doing this, and they were so amazed. And slowly, actually, they used to bring rice, dal, fruits, vegetables, milk, everything they used to get for their family. And then Mrugari was so surprised to see this. He was thinking that just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, I got everything in my life. Actually, I'm getting abundant supplies, more than what I need. Actually, what do I do with all these abundant supplies? That's what he was thinking. And one time, actually, Narada Muni, along with Parvata Muni, wanted to go and see Mrugari, how he was doing. So Parvata Muni asked, where are you going, Narada Muni? Where are you taking me? I'm going to one of my disciples. And who is the disciple? And he's a hunter. Oh, you have hunters also as disciples? Parvata Muni said that. So both of them went. And this news also spread throughout the village. And then Mrugari came to know about this, and he came running to see his spiritual master. So when he could be able to see long distance, very long distance, Narada Muni and Parvata Muni, he was going, and Narada Muni could observe Parvata Muni that he was actually not walking. He was jumping and going here and there, and he's crosswordly walking, and he's going. Then after he reached Narada Muni asked, what happened, Mrugari? Are you doing all right? Is your health is good? Why are you walking like that? Then Mrugari said, see how much the transformation of consciousness happened in his heart. He's saying, my dear spiritual master, actually, while I was walking, I have seen some ants on the road. So I'm just, making sure that I don't step my, feet on the ants so that they won't die. So I'm just taking care of the ants. And that's why I was walking like that. So this is the transformation happened in the heart of the cruel Mrugari. His consciousness, we have understood, right? Very, very bad consciousness. But just Lavamatra association of Narada Muni gave so much auspiciousness in his lives, and he became a pure devotee of the Lord. So when after this actually another nivritti, then strong nishchaya, strong determination of devotional service happens in our life. We will be fixed in devotional service. When we fixed in devotional service, next what happens is we get the taste of devotional service, taste of chanting, taste of performing other devotional services. When we get the taste, then what happens? It actually increases our attachment to Krishna. Okay, we will get so much attached to Krishna, so much so that whatever the difficulty comes in our life, still we are not going to bother about that difficulty. We will be we will continue doing our devotional service to Krishna. When we continue to doing that, then next we will reach the Bhava stage. What is Bhava stage? The expressions, the feelings of love for Krishna arises in our hearts. We could be able to sense that, all the expressions, emotions, feelings for Krishna arises actually. Then the final ultimate stage is getting the prema bhakti, for Krishna, love of Godhead. That is the ultimate love of Godhead. Finally, if we could be able to get that, then even a moment of separation from Krishna actually makes us mad. We cannot actually tolerate, we cannot bear that separation. So in Kunti Maharani, actually, I want to give this wonderful example. He's saying that I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. And Uddhava, how does Uddhava feel? Separation of Krishna. My dear, these are all pure devotees of the Lord. My dear Vidra, now I'm mad for the want of pleasure of seeing him, seeing Krishna. And just to mitigate this, I am now proceeding to Badrikashrama in the Himalayas for association, as I have been instructed by him. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that pure devotees of the Lord, how do they, recover, how do they come out of this pain? Because Uddhava's separation from the Lord was unbearable, and therefore he started to Badrikashrama in obedience to the Lord's order, because the order of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical. As long as one is engaged in the execution of the order of the Lord, there is no factual separation from him. Okay, so this is what actually Uddhava, out of separation, he was doing that. And when we chant, actually, this is a wonderful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I want to read this for you, very, very super verse. What happens when you actually chant? Kiba mantra dila gosani, kiba tarabala, japite mantra ka karila pagala. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying to, I think, Prakashananda Saraswati, my dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given me? I have become mad simply by chanting this Maha Mantra. So chanting Maha Mantra makes us actually, mad. What is mad? This madness is nothing but the intense, transcendental, ecstatic feeling of separation for the Supreme Lord, right? So we will be fortunate to have that. We should strive for that. And finally, I want to end my lecture. Sorry, I'm just beyond the time, but I want to, read this beautiful verse, final verse, how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, gave this, appeared in this, millennium. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vartinah kalau samarpayitum unnata ujvala rasam svabhakti shriyam harihi purata sundara jutikadamba sandipitaha sada hrudaya kandare spurato vahsachinandanaha. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart, repellent with the we all have to pray for this actually. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart, repellent with the radiance of molten gold. He has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So this is a quotation from Vidagdha Madhava. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for everything. Sorry, I'm just beyond 5 minutes time. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, for speaking on this very elevated topic. Would devotees like to share reflections, questions, comments in the next several minutes?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Again, it was a very, very powerful lecture, so much information packed, and thank you so much for all the wonderful examples you gave, starting with how Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, all of them being such stone-hearted, how they themselves, felt, their hearts also melted, starting with that, and all the, how even for a very neophyte devotee like me, I cannot even think of, such a feeling arising in me. But you said it is possible even for such neophyte devotees like me. Thank you so much, Mataji. I would love to go and listen to this lecture again. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the amazing lecture. I unfortunately missed maybe the initial 15 minutes maybe, but I could hear, and I was fortunate enough to hear the rest of the lecture. Mataji, thank you so much for dictating so beautifully in the purpose in the small purpose, but you really expanded on that particular purpose and staying true to that. And thank you so much for the wonderful descriptions, beautiful descriptions, details. And as we mentioned, this is a very elevated topic, but it's begets that Prabhupada has given us, has given us all this literature, so we should read and at least understand what should be. If we don't know the aim, how can we go for it? Okay, but so thank you so much for describing it and making it palatable for at least people like me, to making it understandable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for saying, for your kindness to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Very wonderful and heart attachment. Very, very emotional speech and lecture. I am very happy to see you and heard you. It is very, very wonderful. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Madhavi. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Radha Kunda Mataji, for exploring a very intimate and deep pastime of the Lord and his devotees. I'm sure you were meditating on this for a good long time, and hopefully you experience that rasa also of separation just in this process of preparing for the lecture. It's all Srila Prabhupada's grace and mercy, but you took it up, so thank you for doing that. I want to just